From WCPO-TV, Channel 9 News at 11. With Pat Manarson, Carol Williams, Bob Allen's weather, and Dennis Jensen's sports.
Good evening. Carol's off tonight. Friends and supporters of Middletown Congressman Buzz Lukens are saying tonight they plan to stand behind him no matter what. That despite an indictment handed up against Lukens today, the charge that he's been having an affair, a sexual affair, with an underage girl. John Matarese has more on the charges and what the congressman's supporters think.
Butler County's Republican Party gathered for its regular meeting the very same day the district's congressman, Donald Buzz Lukens, learned he had been indicted on criminal charges, contributing to the delinquency of a child. But these friends and supporters of the conservative congressman came to praise him, not to bury him, saying their support for Lukens hasn't wavered.
He will be the 8th District Congressman for the balance of the term, and it is our intention to be the candidate in 1990. Thank you.
Scandal first surfaced several weeks ago when a Columbus woman charged that her teenage daughter had been sexually involved with Lukens since she was 13 years old. A grand jury, after considering the evidence, finally handed down an indictment, a misdemeanor charge that carries a possible penalty of 6 months in jail and a $1,000 fine.
And the violation is that Mr. Lukens engaged in sexual conduct, to wit, vaginal intercourse with a 16-year-old girl.
Lukens denies the charge, issuing a statement today that said, "I categorically deny that I contributed to the delinquency or unruliness of a minor at any time." There had been speculation that Lukens could be hit with some very serious charges, but now that he's only facing a misdemeanor charge, supporters here say they think that he might be able to pull through this crisis.
And I think that he can still bounce back from this. He's not down and he's not out.
We feel that legally our congressman can defend himself and possibly even be exonerated.
And what if he is convicted? Butler County Republicans, at least publicly, say that's not a concern of theirs right now. In Hamilton, John Matarese, Channel 9 News.
In Washington, just a couple of hours ago, the Senate Armed Services Committee voted to recommend against John Tower's nomination to be Secretary of Defense. The vote followed party lines, 11 against, 9 for. It represents the first time a Senate committee has voted against a cabinet nominee in 44 years. For Tower's critics on the committee, the cutting issue was his long-rumored problem with alcohol. Committee Chairman Sam Nunn of Georgia said the record of alcohol abuse couldn't be ignored and added this.
Nominees must be of unquestionable integrity and suited by temperament for the demands of managing our nation's military forces.
The committee vote does not kill the Tower nomination. That'll be decided with a vote by the full Senate unless Tower first withdraws. But it casts a very long shadow, a shadow that Tower may not be able to survive. No comment from Tower yet, but in Tokyo, where President Bush arrived a few hours ago for the funeral of Emperor Hirohito, spokesman Marlon Fitzwater says Mr. Bush will stand by Tower and, quoting now, there's no consideration of any change, period. Aides say the president will start lobbying the full Senate for a yes vote on Tower as soon as he returns to the White House on Monday. The Hirohito funeral began just a few hours ago. It will take the entire day. It started with the emperor's body being carried by hearse from the imperial palace to a beautiful hilltop garden a few miles away. Thousands of hushed Japanese line the cortege route. It's a gray, rainy day in Tokyo. It's the biggest funeral the world has seen this century, with 10,000 invited guests. In Ross Township tonight, there was a briefing on what promises to be another eyebrow-raising report due out tomorrow on the government's Fernald uranium plant. The briefing was for plant neighbors. The report's from the conservation-minded Sierra Club. We've been told that the report addresses radioactive emissions from the plant and projects that these emissions will cause higher cancer rates among Fernald's neighbors and workers in years to come. Meantime, a congressional committee heard more hearings on Fernald today in Washington, held more hearings, I should say. Much was made of a report disclosing that 3,000 pounds of radioactive uranium escaped from Fernald in an accident in 1966. Fact is, we aired a report about that accident here on Channel 9 almost 4 years ago, in March of 1985. It was part of a lengthy investigation of the risks at Fernald by reporter Dave Failing. A hung jury in Falmouth tonight in the trial of former Scoutmaster Dan Newman from Covington. He'd been accused of sexually molesting 2 of his scouts on a camping trip to Pendleton County. The jury got the case late today, deliberated for 2 hours, and then reported to the judge that it was deadlocked. The prosecutor says he'll press for a retrial. Newman swears he's innocent, but the scouts made up their accusations against him after Newman chewed them out for smoking marijuana. The Tri-State's retail giants like McAlpin's and Lazarus are about to be summoned to battle, a shopping mall war, some call it. This because stores like B. Altman's, Parisienne, and Bonwit Teller open next week in the massive new Forest Fair Mall. Big advertising dollars are already being spent by both the newcomers and the long-established retailers. Analysts say the battle should mean lots of sales and top-notch service at least for the next 6 months. Nearly 50 empty river barges broke loose from a mooring in Sailor Park tonight around 7:30. The barges were all rounded up by 10 o'clock. No damage, the Coast Guard says. An investigation into the cause will begin in the morning, but a spokesman says high water was probably a factor. You're going to want to hit the floor running again, again come morning. It's going to be bitterly cold again. How cold? Well, here's Bob with his first weather check to spell it out for us. Bob?
Thanks, Pat. Temperature when you start off tomorrow morning should be right around 0, bitter cold. Right now, 7 degrees below 0, the wind chill temperature. The common temperature 16 degrees with a partly cloudy sky. Overnight, it will be mostly clear. 0 at morning time, sunshine tomorrow with a high temperature of 25. It won't be long before we warm things up, but it could be a while before it gets warmer in Florida. We'll talk about that along with our full forecast this half hour. Pat?
Thanks, Bob. Here's a story people are going to be talking about tomorrow and probably for a lot of tomorrows to come. The Indiana legislature is considering a proposal that would give convicted rapists and child molesters an alternative to going to prison. That alternative, having themselves castrated. The full story from Tom Regan.
Each year, hundreds of sex offenders are sent to Indiana's prisons. But under a proposed law, those convicted of rape and child molesting would have the option of castration to escape a lengthy prison term. A House committee today approved the bill, which was written by a Fort Wayne area representative.
I want to send a message to these would-be rapists and child molesters. You don't do these things in Indiana and get away with it.
Supporters of the bill say the idea of surgical castration serves not only as a symbolic deterrent, but a means to prevent sex offenders from committing the same act again. A doctor familiar with the procedure disagrees.
The real problem with these people is not a sexual problem, it's a psychological problem. And dealing with a psychological problem by castration is really missing the basic point.
The Dearborn County Sheriff agrees castration would be ineffective punishment.
That may stop them in one way, but I think that they would find other ways to satisfy their desire some way or other.
The Indiana Civil Liberties Union called the proposed castration bill unconstitutional, while one opposing lawmaker said the state shouldn't even begin to think of following the practices of Islamic countries. The folks we talked to here on the streets in Lawrenceburg had divided opinions.
Yeah, castrate them immediately.
That's pretty far out, I think.
If it's their option, sure, let them do it.
Opponents of the castration bill argue that such punishment could lead some sex offenders into committing more violent acts. Many observers are doubtful the bill will win much support when it goes to the House floor for a vote. In Lawrenceburg, Tom Regan, Channel 9 News.
And still to come, the Ohio Medical Board says it's investigating some Dayton doctors for failing to report the actions of the so-called love doctor. A new report says smoking isn't just bad for your health, it's also bad for your waistline. And Tom Hanks moves out to the burb.
Sorry, boys. My husband's not feeling well. He has to stay in his room.
Oh, he was bad.
Come on. Please, Carol, let him come out. Come on.
Hi, I'm John Nolan of John Nolan Ford. My wife Doris and I have a strong commitment to Cincinnati.
A family commitment with good deals and the quality of service you deserve.
Our expertise in arranging credit allows us to help you find the right car or truck. Phone in your application to 631-2000.
This month, we're offering rebates up to $1,000 and interest rates from 4.9 to 9.9% on selected models.
For whatever reason you visit John Nolan Ford, there's always a family member available to help you.
Ridge and Highland, just off I-71 in Pleasant Ridge.
Oh! Hey, going for a swim?
Yeah.
No pool.
Fine, I'll just work out in your gym.
No gym.
I was hungry anyway.
Just for a bite?
Yeah.
No restaurant.
Fine, that's it. I'm back in my room.
No room service.
Wake up!
Who are you?
You should have stayed at Holiday Inn. For a few bucks more, you'd have gotten everything you wanted, but no, you couldn't pass up a bargain.
Fine. I'm just going to grab myself a bucket of ice.
Water.
Why take chances? Stay with someone you know. Holiday Inn.
Put Elder Bierman's two-day sale on your list of important things to do this weekend. Save on new season merchandise this Friday and Saturday, 10 a.m. to 9 p.m.
When you need to find it fast, but you haven't got a clue, here are 3 things you can do. Walk through the yellow pages, talk to the yellow pages, or let them talk to you. When you need information, remember the Cincinnati Bell Yellow Pages, the Cincinnati Bell Talking Yellow Pages, and the new information services in your book. Everybody walk through the yellow pages, talk to the yellow pages, or let them talk to you.
$89 per month. That's right, only $89 per month, and you can own your choice of a new '89 Corolla or '89 Toyota truck with no money down at Toyota Town. Yes, own your choice of a new '89 Corolla or '89 Toyota truck for only $89 per month with no money down. Now through midnight Monday, only at Toyota Town on 5th Street in Covington, Kentucky. We're open every night till midnight and Sundays.
You'll find a city block full of savings at Toyota Town.
Apparently, there will be more repercussions in the so-called love doctor case in Dayton, Ohio. The central figure, of course, a gynecologist named Dr. James Burt. He lost his license not long ago. Over the years, he's alleged to have surgically altered the sex organs of many of his patients, supposedly to improve their sexual responsiveness while they were under anesthesia for totally unrelated procedures. Today, a spokesperson for the state medical board said it's likely that other physicians will face disciplinary charges in the case for failing to report to the board what Burt was doing. More bad news tonight about the impact that smoking can have on you as you age. It's from a study at the National Institute on Aging in Baltimore. Researchers at the Institute say they found that people who smoke tend to put on weight around the middle as they age. People who don't generally add weight around the hips. What's worse, previous research has shown that people with bigger waistlines are more susceptible to heart disease and diabetes. Used to be that Americans either lived in the city or they lived in the country. Then a little over 40 years ago, we were given a third living option, the suburbs. But despite the fact that 3 generations of Americans have grown up in the suburbs, there have not been many movies made about life there until now. Entertainment critic Craig Kopp takes us on a tour of the burbs.
Ah, the American suburbs. Here's a typical neighborhood welcoming committee, ready to greet their new neighbors.
Hi. Welcome to Mayfield Place. We're your neighbors.
Okay, so they're a little different. We can handle that, can't we? What are we? Children?
What? He went into his house. Chicken? I'm not chicken because he went into his house.
Let me rephrase that. Surely the admittedly strange behavior of people different from ourselves can be handled calmly and rationally.
Ray, this is Walter.
Oh, never mind. It's tough to make anything about the burbs make sense. Sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's real serious. And what are you going to do when even a decent performance by Tom Hanks can't save your movie?
We've got to get ourselves a couple of gallons of holy water. My cousin Jerry's a priest. He can get us a deal.
Sorry, not even that is going to help the burbs. Wacky one minute, the next minute seriously lecturing about the narrow-mindedness of suburbanites. It's a black comedy that came out kind of gray. Actually, the burbs is kind of like living in the suburbs, though. One day you think it's a great idea. The next day, you wonder why the heck you ever did it. Where's my snow shovel? For Channel 9 News, I'm Craig Kopp.
And just ahead, Bob with the cold lowdown on tomorrow's forecast. And a bit later, want a beer? They'll teach your dog to do this.
Hello, I'm Jeff Weiler, speaking on behalf of Jeff Weiler Chrysler Plymouth on Beachmont Avenue. And I'd like to sell you a new Plymouth Voyager van. We've got more than 40 to choose from, all colors and all options. 40 Plymouth Voyager vans, and with our owner option purchase plan, you can own one of these with automatic transmission and air conditioning for just $269 a month. And that's with no down payment. $269 a month, no down payment. Be sure and visit us today. Jeff Weiler Chrysler Plymouth, 1/2 mile west of I-275 on Beachmont Avenue.
Aye. J. Ponce, Vern, I assume you are here for the fiesta. What we are celebrating, Vern, are these 3 delicious flavors of trout cottage cheese. You've got your Ale Garden salad, Ale Chive, and my personal favorite, Ale Pine, the apple comprendo deja vu, trout cottage cheese, Vern. Let the fiesta begin. Aye, 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 aye.
Whoa! Whoa! In honor of President's Day, your Nissan dealer is celebrating. You can drive off in a new Sentra for absolutely no money down. Or take off in a new hard-body truck with no down payment. Plus, the all-new Maxima, the four-door sports car, for under $18,000. So don't just stand there, because the Nissan President's Day celebration doesn't last forever. See your participating Greater Cincinnati Nissan dealer now.
The Channel 9 Weather Report is brought to you by Lazarus. Fashion, home, value, and more. What a store.
Dockers, where the savings are all this week at Lazarus. The ball's in your court. Save 30% on all Levi's Dockers. No kidding around. You'll love saving on kids' Dockers, too. Top to bottom. Get in the swing of things in comfortable Dockers, tops, and trousers from Lazarus. Score every time in Dockers shirts, slacks, and shorts, all 30% off. Get a gift with passion. Wing it and save on fares. All this and more at Lazarus. What a store.
Wild. You were just telling me that we stand a chance, is the way you put it, of setting a new record tonight?
Yeah, we're looking for a temperature tomorrow morning around 0. The record is 1 below 0. That was set back in 1967.
So Barbara's really going to have to fight me for the blankets tonight.
Your sweet little wife is most certainly going to. I don't think she'll have a problem with that. You know, I always say no matter how bad it gets here, if it gets bad, it's always going to be worse somewhere else. How about down to the southeast? Today there was snow in Atlanta, Georgia. There was snow as far south as Savannah, Georgia, and I mean on the ground. And cold temperatures have to go with snow. Well, you see some of the temperatures I'll talk about in a moment for Florida. 25 and 11, high and low for the day today. 16 the temperature right now with a wind chill of 3 degrees below 0. 43, 25 normal high and low temperatures. Record 72 in 1985, 1 below in 1963. Satellite to the nation. We're still hanging on to some clouds around the tri-state area. Otherwise, it's clearing nicely. I shouldn't say nicely because the clear sky is what's going to give us a chance to be at 0 by tomorrow morning. But there's still a lot of clouds throughout the Carolinas and the Virginias. That is going to be a problem for the next 24 hours because there's winter storm warnings and snow advisories from the mountains of northern Georgia through the mountains of Carolinas into the mountains of the Virginias. And temperatures in Georgia and Florida overnight tonight and for the day tomorrow will be 20 to 25 degrees colder than where they should be for this time of the year. We'll get some sunshine as a high-pressure fair weather system kind of parts the sky and parts the clouds anyway and gives us sunshine tomorrow, but we still have the northwest airflow, which will keep things really cold. Record cold can be expected for the southeast tomorrow. Temperatures, which we'll see in a moment, will be in the 40s and 50s in many portions of Florida. Otherwise, the winter advisories move from the Carolinas and the Virginias up to the northeast and in the New England states. Here's your daytime highs tomorrow. Look at how cold a sweep there is down to the southeast. 40s throughout most of Florida, 50s and very low 60s all the way down in the Key West area. Very cold throughout the Great Lakes. If you're traveling tomorrow going to the airport, should be no delays, except you may want to watch the northeast. Here's our forecast tonight, overnight, mostly clear by morning 0. For the day tomorrow, mostly sunny, high temperature 25. For tomorrow night, clear, low of 10. The rest of our forecast looks this way. Partly cloudy, 38 for Saturday, 42 cloudy on Sunday. Could have a chance of rain Sunday and into Monday, high temperature 45 degrees. Whew, let's get rid of the cold as quick as we can. Hope you had a good day today and a good day tomorrow.
All right, Bob, thanks. On Moneyline, interest rates are going up again. The nation's big banks raised their prime lending rates today from 11 to 11.5%. The announcement made after the close of trading on Wall Street, so it did not affect the market. The Dow closed up about 5.5 points.
It's colossal. It's spectacular. Kerry Ford, Premier Pontiac, and Banner Buick will give you guaranteed minimums for your trade. Push it in, pull it in, or for your good trade, $8,000 minimum trade guaranteed. It's the event you've been waiting for. $8,000 minimum guaranteed. But the deadline is absolutely at midnight Monday. Midnight Monday. It's only at Kerry Ford, Premier Pontiac, and Banner Buick. Guaranteed minimums for your trade.
Searching for real furniture value? Turn to the Style Source, Globe Furniture Galleries. What's so fabulous about February? Globe's fabulous February Furniture Festival, a celebration of style and savings for your home. Come save 25 to 54% store-wide. Everything's in stock for immediate delivery. Everything's on sale all month long. But remember, it's a short month. Shop Globe's fabulous February Furniture Festival now. It's something to celebrate.
The Channel 9 Sports Report is brought to you by Phoneland, exclusively offering the Panasonic digital phone system.
Wouldn't it be nice to buy a phone system that will grow with your company, provides every feature you'll ever need? A phone system that's easy to use, sensibly priced, and service won't cost you a cent for 2 years. Well, you really can. It's a Panasonic. Phoneland, a passion for excellence.
The rumors really swirling around Eddie Sutton now.
They really are, and hopefully there is no substance to these. But presumably there is, because Eddie Sutton expressed his desire to remain at the helm of the University of Kentucky basketball program today amidst reports from the Columbus Dispatch that he would indeed be replaced. The words he used were far from optimistic and dealt more with the ill timing of the report than his job security for the future.
If they want to get rid of me, that's fine. But let's wait till the season's over. But let's don't take it out on our players. And that's what, every time one of these leaks come out, it's so disruptive and discouraging to our basketball players. And that's not fair to them.
The Dispatch reported that Sutton would be told in 10 days to 2 weeks he's out of here, and Lee Rose, an assistant with the New Jersey Nets and former UC assistant, would be the next Wildcat coach. Injured Jay Burson on hand for the Ohio State-Michigan game tonight at St. John's Arena. Moral support not nearly enough for the Bucs, though. They were blown out by the Wolverines 89-72. Glenn Rice with 30 points to star in this one as the Wolverines hit the 20 victory plateau for the 6th straight season. Elsewhere on the college big board, Indiana big winner over Michigan State tonight. It was Duke 86-65 over NC State. Minnesota falls to Purdue, and LaSalle squeezes by Florida State by a point. Second straight loss for the Seminoles. One up, one down for Northern Kentucky University tonight. The Norse women bombed Indiana Purdue at Fort Wayne by 31-90-59, while the men lose by 8-99 to 91. Jeff Click was clicking tonight. Not enough, though, to offset the Taft Senators. The star guard of Amelia led everyone with 29 points, but it's matched point for point by Taft. Albion Owens, who finished with 28. Owens, though, enjoyed some backup. Sean Wilcox and Alan Dunn chipped in with 10 points apiece to ensure victory. After an even-up first quarter, the Senators pulled away in the second, going up by 15. Third quarter run by the boards when Taft scored 19 in the fourth. The Senators will be put to the test Saturday. They'll have to play Woodward since the Bulldogs beat Aiken tonight twice this year. The Falcons came close to pulling off upsets for the Dogs, but with the money on the line tonight, Woodward put on the Dog. A 22-point explosion in the third quarter turned a 4-point lead into a 15-point bulge. The man Woodward looks to so often, DJ Boston, at the center of things. He finished with 31 points to dwarf everyone else's efforts. Antoine Primus topped Aiken with 17. Let's go to the scoreboard. Middletown beats up on our team of the week, Lakota. LaSalle by 3 points over Coleraine. Green Hills downs Claremont Northeast, and Cape a big winner over Roger Bacon. Story of that game was Roger Bacon's ineffectiveness to shoot. The Spartans couldn't score a field goal for the first 8.5 minutes of that game. Let's check some Kentucky's girls' scores after we do this. Wild Week. That rhymes with geek, but it also jives with peak, which is what we're about to do with the people, places, and things that made it a sporting world over the past 7 days.
Sit back, chill out, as they say now, and relax as we take a spin through the wild week in sports. We'll warm up with a little math quiz. 3 boobs minus 1 equals, that's right, 2. How many strokes does it take Scott Hoke to escape a tricky tree line? Clue, the frustration fling doesn't count. Speaking of swings and misses, how about these air balls? The Stanford outfielder and his Cal State Fullerton counterpart, who both come up empty. And check out North Carolina's Scott Williams or Northwest's Brian Ross, not to be outdone by Eric MacArthur from Cal State Santa Barbara. Hey, anyone can miss from 15 feet, but it takes Richard Dumas of Oklahoma State or Illinois' Kenny Battle to blow a slam. And speaking of slams, how about Jody Ridley's run-in with the Daytona Wall, which seemed the easy way out after we saw Tom Usry get T-boned earlier in Speed Week. The highlight, though, Darrell Waltrip doing his version of the Icky Shuffle after he won his first Daytona in 17 tries. But the real show came during the Providence-Georgetown battle. Now try to follow along as bodies are flying everywhere here. Bobby Winston strips Cal Thester of the ball. Then Winston gives it back to the Friars. Winston immediately gets the elusive spheroid back from Matt Palazzi and moves it ahead to Charles Smith. Smith does a 360-degree spin pass over to Bobby Winston for the layup. The spinning no-look pass, complete with follow-through, earns them the final look on a wild week in sports.
Honestly, Danny Ainge and Brad Lohaus traded to Sacramento in exchange for Ed Pinckney and setter Joe Kiney. Hard to believe, hard to imagine Danny Ainge in anything but the Celtic green and white. Sure, but so it goes in the world of sports.
Thanks, DJ. We'll be right back.
Honda Civic's $95 a month. Accord LXIs with air, automatic, and loaded $209 a month. It's worth a trip to Still Pass Honda on Coleraine.
It's back, Cincinnati. Arby's famous beef and cheddar sandwich is only 99 cents. And now we're making our curly fries even better. Introducing Arby's cheddar fries.
Between love and madness lies obsession. Calvin Klein's obsession.
Now, your gift with any $30 obsession purchase at McAlpin's.
Now, the new Spirit shows at your Dodge dealer. Come in now for big cash rebates on Shadow and Omni. See the sporty new Dodge Shadow, now with a big $600 cash back. Or the popular front-wheel drive Omni with $400 cash back. Don't forget, Shadow and Omni come with our famous 770 protection plan.
Stop by today and test drive a new Dodge at one of the greater Cincinnati or Northern Kentucky Dodge dealers.
Come to Mall Chrysler Plymouth and get the lowest price, factory rebate, and 9.9% financing. Only at Mall Chrysler Plymouth, the right place to buy in Florence.
Holiday Homes is making it possible for you to own a beautiful new home like this for less than you pay in rent. Holiday Homes is overstocked, so we've taken $2,500 off the price of every new single and double-wide mobile home in our inventory this month. $2,500 off, plus guaranteed lowest prices and interest rates. And as a special introductory offer, every home in Princeton Crossing, our newest community, is also $2,500 off. Largest selection, lowest prices, best values, Holiday Homes. Why shop anywhere else?
Your Hyundai dealer wants to put you into space. More space than even the Ford Taurus. Introducing the all-new mid-size car from Hyundai, the Sonata. Sonata delivers almost 100 cubic feet of interior space. Yes, more than even Ford Taurus. Plus a more powerful standard engine. The all-new Sonata. It gives you the luxury of space and the power to fly. All for a very down-to-earth price.
Hurry in to test drive the all-new Sonata at your Greater Cincinnati Hyundai dealer today.
And finally, David Letterman may have his stupid pet tricks, but we found one dog in Silverton who belongs in the category of useful pet tricks. The dog's name is Rambo, and his owners, Charlie and Kay Fisher, have taught him the skills needed to be one of the world's only beer retrievers. Just watch.
That's a boy. A good boy.
Charlie says Rambo can do other tricks, like rolling over, but nothing quite as handy as this.
Oh, man. Make sure you don't do a stupid pet trick and leave your pet outside tonight because the coldest night of the year is 0 at sunrise, up to 25 tomorrow with some sun.
Dayton, Brossard, Beechwood, and Augusta, winners and boys, Northern Kentucky hoops tonight.
And that's the news for this Thursday night. For Carol and all the rest of us here at Channel 9, good night. Have a great tomorrow.